He a neat freak. Yes. Even during messy jobs, he has to have. I wouldn't say he has to have everything organized. Like it has to be a certain way.
How did they get that off of it? They didn't even see me.
No, but they hear you answer a lot of questions. I don't know how they spell it, and they spell your name Casey. Just to let you know, y'all, everyone is K, the letter K and the letter C. That's it. Yeah, he is. I mean, he doesn't mind mess, but his mess has to be organized. It can't be chaotic. He doesn't do chaos. I mean, he can. He's a chameleon. He can adjust to any environment, but he doesn't prefer it. You would get a very different KC. Uh, Question 23. Where is CJ? We miss her voice, Lisa. Oh, well, Lisa, she's not here. She's visiting family, but she'll be here next week. And we'll let her know that you miss her voice. 24. Casey, what are some of your hobbies?
My hobbies are cars, music, her, dancing, singing. Actually, cooking is starting to become that again. I started kind of not liking to cook no more, but it's starting to get a little fun doing experimental stuff. She says it's because of her. Okay.
Because I cook my ass off.
Uh-huh.
They asked me what are some of my hobbies. Well, I like to bake. I like to cook. I like baking more than cooking. I think we can both say that. I love to read. I write music, rap, songs, poetry. I like making stuff. I'm very creative, which is why I have my business for Princess Scents. I'm very creative. Oh, there's of course him. I like sleeping. That's a hobby.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what else. Did I miss any of my hobbies that you noticed?
I'm definitely the opposite on the sleeping. But
We are.
good sleeping is addictive.
We are very similar, but we have enough things that are opposite to make us each our own individual.
Right.
Okay, 26 is what are RPMs?
RPM is basically, it stands for rate per minute. Basically, that has to do with how many, revolutions per minute. How many times the engine turns within one minute. That's how you basically measure how fast or slow your engine is going. And on most cars, that's the little gauge where you see the 1 through 7, 8, 9, or 10. It depends on the car, because every car can have a different limit as far as how far they put the gauge on the RPMs. Most of them are around 8 or 9 that I know of.
Okay, next question. What is the reason your car will not stop even when pushing your brakes? That's dangerous.
That's very dangerous. If your car is not stopping when you're pressing your brakes, it means somewhere in there you lost hydraulic pressure. Most vehicles have hydraulic brakes, meaning that they have a cylinder and you have pressure holding against each. It's kind of like a balloon. Let me kind of revert that. Let's say you have a balloon, right? You put a whole bunch of water in that balloon. Well, when you squeeze that balloon is gonna push pressure away from the point of where you're actually squeezing it. That away point would be your brakes. Now, if you put a hole anywhere in that balloon, it's gonna squeeze out and it's gonna leak, thus far taking away from the components that it needs to pressurize up against. that will be a faulty brake system, and that's something that you definitely want to have checked out and have fixed right away.
And if that's happening and you're on like a highway, or even if you're driving, call 911 to inform them of what is going on, so they can set up some maneuvers and stuff to help you safely stop your car.
When it comes to losing brakes on your car, true enough, you know what I'm saying, you want to call the authorities, but if you are in a situation where you can't, the first thing that you need to do is, first of all, take the power away from your car. You do that by putting your gear in neutral. Okay? Once you put your gear in neutral, you need to make sure that you are staying clear of whatever you can. You might have to do some maneuvers. You might have to go around traffic. You want to get to the point to where you could press your car up against something. Now, on a manual vehicle, you could actually downshift and cause your car to slow down. You can do this on a automatic as well by pulling the gear back from 3 to 2 to 1. You want to do that gradually, the best way that you can, and that will actually slow your car down as well. But when it's all said and done, make sure that you're not hitting the gas while you're doing that, because your car will take off. Because when you downshift, that's almost like telling your car you really, really ready to go. And if you hit that gas, you having the opposite effect. But for someone that can't do that, again, put it in neutral. Try to put your car up against a curb, or if you can go onto the side or go into grass, that'll help slow your car down safely.
She said it happened to her, and she was scary. This is Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Angela.
She said she took her foot off the gas, and her car gradually slowed down after a while and stopped on its own in the middle of traffic, but it was very scary.
Absolutely. Just anytime something like that happens, absolutely put your hazard lights on, because when you put your hazard lights on, that's supposed to be a symbol to everybody else that there's an emergency or there's something wrong, with your car or with your situation on the inside. Always put your hazard lights on and try to move to the side of the highway where it's actually safe, if that's possible.
I'm happy that you're okay and that your car was able to stop.
Absolutely.
28. Someone said I'm a shut-in, but you guys make it seem like life isn't as bad as in my mind. Thank you. I never believed in God, but Casey answers make sense and don't sound like nonsense. Can your God help me get over this fear?
That right there could be a signal or a situation where God might actually be trying to be reaching you. So when you ask me, can God help with anything, we're talking about the creator of the universe, the creator of everything. If we were closer to the sun, we would melt. If we were further from it, we would probably freeze to death. That's something that could be proven with science. But we stay the perfect distance and the perfect everything, and everything stays right in place where it needs to be and has never been taken off track. That's your sign that God is real, that God is there. So from there, what do you do with it? You get into his word and try to learn him for yourself. True enough, it's good to have people around you, but you got to be wary. You got to watch who you learn from. Again, the Bible tells us that he that walks with wise be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. What I got from that at a young age, 18 years old, was don't hang around people that's going to bring you down. It also tells us that you judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Look at what comes out of a person. Look at what they produce. What are they doing? If you have a situation where you got somebody that you're around and they're not spoken greatly of, or they're always being put down, or that they half do things, or they don't do things right, there's things that you would know about a person. You'll be able to tell just by kind of hanging around them. Those people that everybody goes to, because they have a good head on their shoulders and they do things the right way. Those are the people that you want to learn from. But at the same time, always do your research for yourself. Always try to learn for yourself. Because when somebody comes with something that's nonsense, then you have some grounds to actually question what they're saying. And 9 times out of 10, when you question somebody that's trying to deceive you, they're going to run into a roadblock, and that's as far as they're going to be able to go.
If you don't mind my asking, how long have you been a shut-in, and what made you a shut-in? If you don't mind my asking. Okay, I'm not gonna cry because it's kind of sad. But this person is 62 years old, and they became a shut-in because every time they went outside, there was something negative happened to them. They are African American, and they did serve in the war. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely, thank you for your service.
And they just can't seem to see life as beautiful anymore because every time they went outside, something bad was happening just because the color of their skin. Wow,
that's a situation where I feel like if it be possible, you might want to try to travel. If you've been in that situation for an excessive amount of time, and you've also been in the same geographical location for the exact same time, then that can possibly be the problem. I'm not saying that you know what I'm saying, you're cursed or anything like that, because I really don't. I believe in curses, but I don't believe that we are bound to them.
Oh, they've been a shut-in since their 20s, mid-20s.
Try something different. I would say try to get out of that comfort zone and maybe just get away. Sometimes you need to get away from around a different type of people to where that you can understand that it's not all the same.
If you don't mind my asking, where do you live at? Like, city and state. You don't have to give us your address. Like, what city and state do you live in? They live in Killeen, Texas.
Oh, wow.
You're not that far from us. I mean, if you email the email that's associated with this podcast on from the information page, maybe if you're okay with it, we can come visit you. I know we wouldn't mind.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for listening to us. And like he said, I think that was God, because like, why else would you just turn us on? Where are you listening to us from? The radio.
Oh, okay.
So I guess the iHeartRadio. Okay. Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, like Casey said, like you may just need to change your environment. Baby steps. If you want to arrange something, we will gladly come see you. We would have to plan it, but I have no objection to that.
Me neither. I actually used to live in Killeen off of Lake Road, Coppers Cove, and Fort Hood too, because of my mother. So I'm a little bit familiar.
He said that's 20 minutes away from him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, let's get together and plan something. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you for your service. And I can understand from back in your day, from what you experienced, it was a very different world than what we have now. I'm not going to say racism doesn't still exist, because it does. But there are a lot more ways, more justices to handle it. It's not as swept under the rug as it was back in your day. So just give it a try. Even go outside and get your mail from your mailbox. That's a small baby step. Just gradually go during a time when you know there's not a lot of people outside. I understand people can be scary, life can be scary, but If you live your life in fear, you won't exactly live life. You're just existing. But thank you so much for your story. I really appreciate it.